The internet is filled with memes. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're cringy, and sometimes you just don't know what's going on. But regardless, they're all memes. But what even is a meme? Well, Richard Dawkins, the author of the book The Selfish Gene, sought to answer that question in 1976, 20 years before the first meme was even created. He coined the term meme from the Greek word mememe. Mememe? Mimimi? I don't even know. His definition of a meme was a cognitive or behavioral pattern that can be transmitted from one individual to another. By his standards, pretty much anything could be a meme, from a musical tune, to fashion, to religion. I forgot to mention that Dawkins is actually an evolutionary biologist, and definitely had a thing for Charles Darwin, and suggested that the evolution of memes are akin to the propagation of genes throughout a species, mimicking Darwin's theory of evolution. Although he makes clear that he thinks that Darwinism is too big a theory to be confined to the narrow context of the gene, and that the gene will enter his thesis as an analogy, nothing more. I argue that we should further explore the implications of Darwinism in the context of memes, and examine their memeological behavior within different meme environments. Okay, I'll stop. Throwback to 6th grade science. We were taught that every ecosystem had a food chain. You had your decomposers, producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and finally, the apex predator. The apex predator do not have any natural predators and sit comfortably at the top of the food chain. By applying the same concept to memes, this suggests that there stands a meme that is unrivaled by other memes, ruling and controlling the meme pool, a meme so powerful that it seeks to terraform the very memescape it resides in to ensure its survival. The apex meme. And that's where I come in. The goal of this video is to explore the memes within my community, which happens to be Gen Z America. And by using Dawkins' proposed meme properties, copy fidelity, fecundity, and longevity as a framework to quantify a meme's real-world influences on our society, we can determine the apex meme of different memosystems and the properties that made it achieve its status. The first species of meme that comes to mind when discussing Gen Z culture is TikTok. With 850 million monthly active users, TikTok has grown into a cultural phenomenon unlike any other platforms we have seen in the past. Its ease of use and abundance of short-form 15-second or less videos created a perfect meme that infiltrated the lives of billions of people. The longevity of each individual piece of meme created through TikTok is relatively short, with a lifespan of 3 days to a month. However, its ability to rapidly propagate itself within its user base allows it to grow at an astounding rate. To further distinguish TikTok from its rivaling competitors, this species developed a very interesting way to ensure copy fidelity: TikTok sounds. Despite the diverse array of videos on the platform, many of them utilize the sounds from a pre-existing video. This trait was previously seen in other platforms like Musical.ly, but it was absorbed into TikTok through a merger in 2017. Although its 800 million monthly users seem minuscule compared to the 2.4 billion monthly users of Facebook, if we take a closer look at the age demographics of each platform, we can see that only 18.5% of Facebook users are between the ages 13 to 23, whereas 41% of TikTok users are between the ages 16 to 24. This puts Facebook's Gen Z demographics at 444 million users versus TikTok's 328 million, which reduces the difference significantly. Despite the ever-changing and fast-paced environment of social media, only a handful of new species has entered and left this climate. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter have dominated this ecosystem for decades, and other small platforms like Musical.ly and Vine didn't manage to survive for long. It would be a stretch to crown TikTok as the apex predator of the Gen Z social media ecosystem, but given its relatively young age and rapid growth, only time will tell whether TikTok can overtake all these other platforms and claw its way to the top of the food chain. Moving on to a different sector of Gen Z culture, there resides another much more volatile and vicious environment, home to some of the most dangerous and toxic species of memes ever created. Video games.
How? How did they think that was okay to even put it in the game? I'm so sick of this fucking company. They're trash! Fix the game! It sucks playing the shit! And I'm fucking addicted! So I can't quit!
Among these species is a meme that also grew rapidly within the past few months, becoming yet another global phenomenon, attracting the attention of many pop culture icons like James Charles, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Corpse Husband, and PewDiePie. And the meme that achieved all of this is the cross-platform multiplayer game Among Us. To once again continue our Darwinian analogies, we will have to be acquainted with the concept of fundamental and realized niche. In short, every species occupies a role within its ecosystem. A fundamental niche is all the possible conditions within an environment where a species can survive and reproduce. whereas the realized niche is the actual role the species occupies, after factoring in the interactions with other species such as competition and predation. In the case of Among Us, the realized niche rapidly expanded during the events of the COVID-19 pandemic. During its initial release in 2018, Among Us garnered little to no attention from mainstream culture, and occupied a tiny portion of the ever-saturated video game industry. Due to the events of self-quarantine, Among Us was quick to fill in the void for the much-needed social interaction during a time of isolation. If you didn't know, the game is a modern adaptation of the classic social deduction party game known as Mafia, or Werewolf, or Secret Hitler, or some other variation depending on where you grew up. And by using a pre-existing well-known game as the framework paired with its simplistic art style and colors, the meme maximizes its copy fidelity as an easily recognizable cultural icon. Much like TikTok, it utilizes many strategies to increase its fecundity to rapidly propagate throughout the population. The game is available on iOS, Android, Windows, and is free on the mobile versions. It is also cross-platform, allowing anyone to play together regardless of the user's device. In conjunction with the rise of XQC, offline TV, and other streamers streaming it on Twitch, the incentive to play this game reached its peak. However, much like TikTok, as a relatively new species introduced to this community, Among Us is put in conflict with one of the most prominent and powerful species in this ecosystem: Minecraft. What separates Minecraft from Among Us is its longevity. Both games feature a distinct art style and platform compatibility, but Minecraft has proven itself to be a timeless meme that will continue to thrive for decades to come. Due to the situational nature of Among Us, once the pandemic settles down and people are able to leave their house again, the demand for an online social deduction game will decrease, but Minecraft will continue to live on. Although it is impressive how much Among Us was able to achieve in such a short period of time, its status as an apex predator seems to be contested by the many other diabolical species in the video game industry. Despite our thorough analysis, it is still difficult to conclude what the apex meme is within these ecosystems. TikTok and Among Us are certainly massively influential memes among their communities, yet they still have to compete tirelessly with other memes for dominance. This leads me to wonder whether there are actually memes that are even higher up the trophic level that could prey upon our subjects. Who are the ultimate beneficiaries of the product of these memes? And that's when I realized that the apex meme that rules over not only the social media platforms, or the video game industry, or even Gen Z culture, but the world itself, is capitalism. Oh god, I hate myself. Okay, hear me out. The actual apex predator that sits unrivaled above all is human greed. And as Dawkins points out, genes are inherently selfish, and their only goal is to ensure its survival. Naturally, humans would gravitate towards systems of power that benefit themselves. And that's how capitalism slowly became the driving force behind many generations of Americans. Gen Z Americans are born into a consumer capitalist society, and we are starting to feel its repercussions. Many of us are going to grow up to become leaders of the world, and we must learn to pave the way for a future that defies the selfish nature of humans. In Dawkins' own words, "Let us try to teach generosity and altruism because we are born selfish. Let us understand what our own selfish genes are up to, because we may then at least have the chance to upset their design, something that no other species has ever aspired to do." Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new from this video, and stay safe.